We've been with Gradient since way back in the at-risk days. That was actually back when we were just a standalone bank known as First Federal Lakewood Bank. Since then, we formed a holding company, First Mutual Holding Company, which is a holding company of mutual banks, that's given by the name. And within that holding company, there are now 5 affiliated banks. Some of these banks are fairly small. We're talking staffs of less than 10 people from CEO down to teller. So they do not have the staff or the in-house expertise to really do much of anything other than operate a branch. So in most of these situations, the holding company, for lack of a better description, acts as the MSP, providing information security, IT, HR, marketing, a whole host of services that they would have to otherwise outsource for themselves. And we do that in such a way that allows them to maintain their brand and board of directors and bank charter. So we're not requiring the banks, they're affiliating with us, so they keep their structure, but get all the benefits that the holding company can provide for them. So within that umbrella of services that we provide, obviously is where Gradient Cyber comes in. We initially brought you guys on to certainly do some log collection correlation, which was and continues to be the key service you provide for us, but also critically that 24/7 monitoring that we just don't have the staff to provide ourselves. Our IT side of the house, which again services those 5 banks, is about 10 people from CTO down to the service desk. On the IS side, information security, you have myself and an analyst. So fairly lean to do all that. So that's where again we appreciate Gradient being the eyes and ears to send us alerts to see things that we wouldn't have the time to dig into. So it really wasn't necessarily alert fatigue as more of alert blindness, and that you're now giving us the ability to get alert and see things and find the needles in the haystack and notice things that we probably may not notice, either because we just weren't getting alerts or didn't have the ability to correlate the alerts across systems. I guess one of the things I've appreciated about Gradient over the years actually has been the ease of implementation, in that if we have a new system and I say, hey, we've spun up this, can we start shipping you logs on this? We typically find a way to make that work. You guys have always been very accommodating and flexible, and your team has always been very good about finding ways to ingest the logs that we send over to you. And so I've always appreciated that. It's not been a hard process of, all right, we have to put this out to R&D for 5 years and we'll get back to you type thing. Always been very responsive in that regard. Even as we, through the years have changed firewall vendors, we've changed endpoint protection vendors. So, all of those have changed over the years. In each case, we've been able to make the transition with you. And it's also been very helpful in dealing with our regulators. We've been able to point to you that you're doing this. You're also keeping our event logs longer than we would keep them on site, so that gives us good support if we ever have to go back and investigate. Once to me, obviously, again, is that 24/7 365 monitoring that you provide, because obviously as a small shop that typically is your 8 to 5 type situation, we just don't have the ability to staff to that level. Certainly that's a huge help, but also just having the systems and the intelligence in place to be able to do the cross-platform correlation. If you're seeing unusual firewall traffic from an endpoint, well, how does that correlate to the endpoint, the Sophos endpoint traffic? Are you seeing anything unusual there? Are you seeing anything unusual with AD logins? So being able to make that cross-platform correlation and give a complete story is really the other big benefit we see from a solution like this.
With a lean IT team supporting 5 affiliated banks, First Mutual Holding Company needed more than just security tools. They needed a trusted partner. Gradient Cyber's 24/7 MXDR solution became their eyes and ears, eliminating alert blindness, correlating threats across systems, and ensuring compliance with financial regulators. Now, FMHC has the confidence that their network is continuously protected without the burden of managing it alone. For more information on how Gradient Cyber helps secure First Mutual Holding Company, read the full case study.